Hello, I'm Susan Sipal. Welcome back to Fantastic Secrets Behind Fantastic Beasts. Today I present to you part 2 of my Secrets in the Pentagram series. What I share with you was originally meant to be part of the first video, but I discovered something in my research that was so fascinating I had to break it off into its own video. Whether by Rolling or the franchise in general, I believe Fantastic Beasts has gone beyond hiding clues within the movie itself and is sneaking them into the merchandise as well. Let me show you and see what you think. I explore many mysteries like this in my book, Fantastic Secrets Behind Fantastic Beasts, and hope you'll check it out. In the first of my Secrets in the Pentagram videos, I shared how central the number 5 seems to be to Fantastic Beasts, and started exploring the symbols within the pentagram at MACUSA. At first glance, they seem to be demon sigils related to certain grimoires from Renaissance magic. A magician could summon a particular demon or beast through their sigil to utilize that demon's talent. The charmed circle or pentacle the wizard worked with would both provide protection from and control of the demon summoned. In the film, we saw how Newt appeared from the base of the top pentagram point, as if he was summoned within the pentacle. Plus, he, Tina, and Jacob never left the circle of the pentacle. They were controlled there by Madame Pickery and captured within it by Graves. Okay, to better understand what these symbols might mean for future films, let's explore them step by step. By blowing up a couple movie stills, I've been able to get a better view. First, let's look at the 4 in the light-colored bottom points of the pentagram. Now, compare these to a few of the demon sigils from the Renaissance grimoires. These represent particular demons or beasts that could be called upon to provide magical aid according to their strengths. Though they're not exact matches to the Fantastic Beasts symbols, both sets seem to be of similar concept. Now, let's look at the golden top point. Here it is from the film. Notice that it's different than the others in both style and color. Not only is it gold, but the symbol is not inscribed within a circle. However, it still carries the look of the sigils, some of which were formed in triangles. I could not find exact replicas to the movies from any of these sigils, but there are so many from various ancient manuscripts. The question is, did Jo copy hers from ones I've been unable to locate, or did she use them as inspiration to design her own? Are hers representative of demons we may meet, or magical beasts? And really, is any of this important? To start answering that last question, let me show you the really curious thing I discovered at the end of the first video. In my research, I stumbled across this series of character posters for each of the team, and as I was looking at them closer, I noticed that each poster contained 2 of the symbols from that pentagram, which kind of surprised me, and I thought was very interesting. Look. By blowing these circles up, I could finally get a better image of what those sigils look like. Except there's one more thing. Look at Tina's poster. It was the only one that contained 4 of those circles, although one of them is hidden. Let's put the images from each character on its corresponding symbol on the pentagram. First Queenie, then Jacob, then Tina's 3 that can be seen, and finally Newt. Newt's second one is a bit different. It's not an exact match for the top point, but if I put up an image of a pendant that details the top clearly, you can see that Newt's sigil seems to also be the center part of the MACUSA symbol. So there seems to be meaning here, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. Once I realized there were clearer symbols hiding in the merchandise, I looked for even more, and here's what I found. The symbols were everywhere, thrown in with many that are not in the pentacle. Some I clearly recognized as relating to alchemy. These images were labeled on their product pages as MACUSA symbols, which seems to be affirmed by the fact that the MACUSA banner has all 4 sigils located in the corners in their parallel placement to the pentagram. As such, I believe these symbols are generally meant as world building, showing MACUSA's use of ancient magic. But I also think it's not limited to that. The symbols in the pentagram, at least, seem to say something personal about the characters, as shown by their placement in the posters. However, I'm not sure Tina's symbols count. Her poster is pure MACUSA, with its similar color and shield directly behind her, MACUSA written down the right-hand side, her name in script as it appears on her MACUSA ID, and her ID number at the top of her head. While the other 3 characters are labeled Magizoologist, Legilimens, and Nomad, Tina simply has a number. As her poster is basically all about MACUSA, even down to presenting all 4 MACUSA pentagram sigils in their proper placement, I'm not sure it can tell us anything about Tina personally. Or it might also indicate that some of her personality is hidden. For more on this, see my Tina as a possible animagus video. If you want to check all this out for yourself, I share links to all merchandise pictured in the description below. Now, look where Jacob is standing in this image. In observing Senator Shaw's body, he centered himself completely in the southeast point. That right foot of the pentagram, where his feet are shown, is one of the 2 sigils on his character poster. To me, that adds to the evidence that these sigils relate personally to these characters. Their meaning may not be limited to our team, but they do seem to correspond somehow. Here is the pentagram filled with the clearest images labeled by the characters they correspond to. Only Newt clearly had the southwest point or left foot of the pentacle, while he, Tina, and Jacob share the southeast point or right foot. Jacob, Queenie, and Tina all have the northwest or left arm in their posters, but only sisters Queenie and Tina share the northeast point or right arm. Also, let me add in one extra symbol for Newt. This is from the packaging of some of the pins. You see the inner symbol is the same as the one on Newt's poster, and the center part of the top point of the pentagram. However, it's surrounded by a compass rose type of symbol. I've been holding off one fairly obvious parallel to the top triangle symbol, the Eye of Providence. While it's an ancient symbol, its purpose here is most likely imitating the one shown on the back of the Great Seal of the U.S. For some, this symbol represents government surveillance and secret societies. Now, look at Newt's sigil, set in the compass rose. Notice that it's used in the center backdrop of his poster. When talking about government surveillance and a compass rose symbol, a certain organization comes to mind, the CIA. Could Newt have a relationship to the intelligence community? I speculate in my clue book that he has a secret agenda, even beyond releasing Frank, and this seems to back it up. I want to show you something else curious that struck me when I was re-watching part of the movie. This is from the map of Manhattan that Madame Picquery was looking at when the Obscurus started his rampage near the end of the movie. It reminds me faintly of the drawing on the MACUSA gold point of the pentagram. I admit this theory is far-fetched, and Picquery's magical map probably has nothing to do with the MACUSA Pentacle, but that map reminded me immediately of Dumbledore's scar, the one he told Harry was a perfect map of the London Underground. We never found out much about that scar in the Potter series, but we saw how important a triangle symbol was. I wonder if a map will come to play in this one. Could something be hidden in the New York Underground where the climax scene of Fantastic Beasts takes place and where Grindelwald so despises being forced to hide like rats in the gutter? And could it be more than coincidence that Newt ends up in New York at the same time as Grindelwald? It's notable that while Newt's supposed plan was only to release Frank, he entered New York with a city map and handwritten directions he was following when he bumped into Jacob at the bank. So, I've thrown out a lot of possibilities, and to be honest, I'm still not positive what these symbols mean. My best guess is that they act like sigils, but invoke magical beasts instead of demons. Notice the hint of sigils in the 4 beasts or magical being that form the Ilvermorny houses, or from those on the scriptbook cover. I think the pentagram sigils will represent 4 creatures that were important to the establishment of magic in America. Newt, with his love and understanding of these animals, may be acting in a covert way to both use their talents while protecting them. We've seen Newt summon the Fwooper and Pickett and Frank as both protection and weapons, a bit like a magical Pokemon trainer, as others have noted. He may be preparing or preventing these animals' use in war. He was working with Ukrainian Iron Bellies during the First World War, after all. However, to get real insight into the possible personal meaning of the pentagram sigils, I turned to Jo herself, who said in an interview, "Although the title is Fantastic Beast, to me we're talking about the beast that's in everyone, and the way that we make beasts of others. It is such a dangerous thing to do, to draw a line around a group and say you're wrong, you're inadequate, and you should be treated thus. That's at the heart of most of what I write, and it's certainly at the heart of this movie." Check the description below for a direct link to Jo's quote. The beast in everyone. To me, that's the heart of what these symbols represent. We're heading into a time of war, where her characters may be forced to make hard choices that challenge them to face their inner demons. And I definitely believe Newt may be forced into torturous decisions regarding the use of his magical beast. Fortunately, he and his new friends are not alone. They have each other. Please share your thoughts in the comments. If you have better ideas of what these symbols may mean, I'd love to hear from you. Or if you found clues hiding in other licensed products, please share. In the next pentagram video, I'll cover a more ancient understanding of this symbol and how that may relate to the theme of 5 in the films to come. So be sure to subscribe and watch the other videos in the playlist. And check out my book, Fantastic Secrets Behind Fantastic Beasts, at Amazon or your local bookseller.